at another edition of Survive to Thrive with me, Dr. Todd. The year is 2029. It's a decade later than where we currently sit today. And I'm in my house, actually staring at my queen, wondering what happened. The quietness settles through the house. It's a deafening. The dogs even seem depressed. My queen and I, look at each other, not knowing what to say, not really knowing what to do. You see, our littlest one is now off to college. It's been a couple weeks. And the deafening quiet of the house that we once had yearned for was now upon us. And as I sit and reflect, there's an element of guilt and shame and a whole lot of regret that starts to settle over me. You see, there were moments that I missed. There were moments that I could have engaged on. There were moments that needed me. They were gifts. Moments that were gifts from God that I found way more in responding to a text. I found more necessity in responding to an email. I found more necessity in justifying my need to be on Facebook because I had a business. I found more necessity in sitting on a board and entertaining the chaos that went on a board for the sports team that my kids played on, rather than being there on a game and being there for my kids. I reflected back and looked at those moments where they had their first loves, where they got their hearts broken. They had their wins in games, their losses. And I reflect and ask myself, was I really, truly there? Was I present? Did I inhale everything that I could inhale at that moment in time? You see, the regret and the shame and the guilt that settles over is because I put other things as a priority. I let other things infiltrate. You know, in my reflection back, I look at my kids in a crowd at this age, and they would not leave my side. Nothing would get in between us. No person, no thing. I would hold them close. For the fear of losing them, or for the fear of somebody taking them, I would fight. I would set a parameter up that nobody could touch. I would protect them by all means possible. Yet when I get home, I would let the world infiltrate in the form of movies, in the form of a cell phone, in the form of the video game, that would slowly just distract. As it infiltrated, it slowly started to distract from the moments. You see, these moments were there. They were gifts. You see, the kids had struggles that they'd want to talk about. They had that kid that was mean to them. They had the math problem that they never understood or couldn't grasp. They had their worries, their concerns, their feelings. The things that they experienced throughout the day needed to be unfolded. They needed to celebrate their joy and understand that their emotions were okay. Whether they were good or bad, whether they were angry or sad, they needed to be seen. Yet my eyes, they focused on a screen rather than a person. And here I sit, in 2029 with regret, with shame, and with guilt of what could have been. The life I could have had. And now I sit here looking at the fact that I have to try to rebuild, if I want, a relationship with my kids that I could have had. The relationship with my queen that we could have explored different things other than just the schedule. We could have actually explored what we want, our hopes and dreams, and we could have led our kids to do the same. You see, in this world, there was an opportunity to seize the moment, to seize the gifts that I've been given, to be able to engage at a level as a dad could be. You see, I saw being a dad as a provider, that are going to work and being able to provide the things that they need. The new catcher's gear, the new dance gear, the new clothes, the new tennis shoes. Whatever they needed, I was there. They had food, they had shelter, but they missed a big part of me leading them in an aspect of life. The other things that they actually could have inhaled from me, my experiences, my wisdom, my knowledge. You see, they were all stolen. They were stolen by a device that became more important than the moments in front of me. You see, ladies and gentlemen, this is a scenario that is very near and dear to you and to me. If you look at this world and see where we have gone in the last 20 years, technology has advanced astoundingly. 43 days a year is what the average person spends on Facebook. You imagine if you actually put 43 years into developing your child? 43 days, in developing your child every year? 43 days. But you see, the 43 days is shifted to something that's not urgent, it's not important, and has no bearing on life. Only to what? Have an affair in somebody else's life. It is an addiction, ladies and gentlemen, that literally slowly infiltrates our world. This is not like a quick, oh my gosh, he's an alcoholic. Oh my gosh, he's addicted to drugs. It is just the gateway to a slow drip, to a slow infiltration, to waking up 10 years, 2029. My youngest is out of the house, looking back and going, oh my God, there were moments and there were times that I missed. And if you resonate with this, we're going to give you a tip and a trick, something to think about. But would this not bring you to tears to look back and realize that you missed some of the most important times in their lives? Yeah, we showed up at games, but we were distracted. We were at home, but we really were not at home. Yeah, we watched a movie only to shh our kids because they were too loud, only to allow the movie to infiltrate a true relationship. You see, ladies and gentlemen, relationships are built. They're built on moments. They're built on experiences that you go through together. This is not a 1-week vacation that you take throughout the summer and check your box and say, hey, I did what I needed to do. These are in the moments. These are in the wins and the losses. These are in the times when they fall in love, fall out of love. That heartbeat that they have as a teen, realizing that they actually can love, realizing that they can actually fear, realizing that they actually have emotions that they can control. And you are there to be there with them leading this. Ladies and gentlemen, do not wake up in 10 years. So here's the tip and the trick. Do not wake up in 10 years with regret, shame, and guilt, because you can change it now. And if your kids are already gone, you can rebuild. That's all right. If you feel this shame and guilt and regret, You can rebuild. But it's got to start today. And it starts with putting parameters. I did this a while back talking about a venomous snake in the house. You would kill it by all means. You would protect your kids by all means. And this is part of that protection, ladies and gentlemen. If you will look at a cell phone and look at your gadget and where that is infiltrating your life and set parameters for it. That cell phone has technology to even help on this. You can turn alerts off to a certain time. From X to Y to Z, you can set parameters for this. So the tip and the trick is if you want that relationship to be built, and if you want to be in the moment, you have to put the distractions aside. And your cell phone is one of the biggest distractions that you will ever have. There's more data, there's more information. And we justify it. I'm just checking the weather. Oh, there's a Facebook post. Oh, there's an email that came through. And next thing you know, you're a half hour, 45 minutes. You see that 43 days a year is not done in big chunks, 8 to 10 hours a day. It is actually little bits throughout the day. It's 5 minutes here waiting at the dentist's office. It's 10 minutes here. And there are people sitting beside you likely that you could turn and discover. Where are you at? How are you doing with this? What do you believe on that? And we start to actually build a relationship. So the tip and the trick today is to use those parameters. You don't know how to do it? Ask your kid. They will likely do it for you. You go to settings and slide a little button over, and you've created the parameters for which you will not receive texts or notifications during this time. This is my time. I'm protecting it. Who's with me? If you're with me, you will wake up 10 years from now saying that you exhausted every moment. You inhaled every gift from God. Every moment that was there for you, you took and ran with it. You were there. You saw it. You cherished it like gold. Because nobody actually lives a life looking back and said, I wish I had more money. But they look back and say, man, I wish I could have those moments back. Or I wish I just had a little bit more time. You see, my kids are 13, 11, 8, soon to be 9. And I've done an okay job. I've inhaled these moments. But I've missed a ton as well. And so moving forward, this little gadget that carries me around, I'm going to carry it around. And I'm going to put parameters for it. This was a gift from a good friend of mine. And I've explored this before, but this thing's going to have parameters. It will no longer infiltrate my world. It will no longer dictate what moments I get to see or not to see. So you see, there is a big market to sedate. Television, movies, your phone, Facebook, Instagram. These are all forms of sedation, just like alcohol or drugs, just to take you out of your world. Some of you may want to get out of that world. I understand. Sometimes it's too much to bear. And we think by actually going in an alternate reality that this will actually make a difference. This will help us only to realize that it's 2029 and you missed. You missed life. It passed you by. It did. And the only thing you have left is shame, guilt, and regret. So for you today, the tip and the trick is, do you define parameters? Do you protect these moments like you would in a big crowd, taking your kids close? Or do you let the world infiltrate these moments and take over? The decision is up to you. But I would suggest one of the healthiest things that you could ever do. Because this little gadget is killing you. It is killing your life. But one of the healthiest things that you could do is set a parameter for this little gadget. And let it serve you. Not for you to serve it. not for you to become sedated in 42, 43 days a year or more. That's on Facebook, 42 to 43 days a year on Facebook, the average American. Spending half your life into this gadget. Consider what could be done by pouring that life into the people around you. No shame, no guilt, no regret. Just inhaling the moments. Inhaling the moments. And it's up to you. Every day, bringing you tips and tricks. But today, bringing you one of the most enlightening concepts that you could ever employ in your household and teach others to do. In love and light.